Hello and welcome into BTN's Take 10 podcast. This is Alex Roux of BTN, and this is the last episode of the Take 10 podcast before football season gets underway in the Big Ten in 2019. So we've made it, everyone. The long trek through the wilderness is over. Big Ten football is back. Unfortunately, that also means summer's over, but that's a different point. We can handle that because football is back. And in this episode, we are putting a bow on the summer because we're wrapping up our coverage of the 2019 BTN Bus Tour here on the show. So if you haven't been following along, I do an interview with a player from each school on the BTN Bus Tour when we go around to all the campuses and watch football practice. So this is episode 4 out of 4, where we've bundled 3 or 4 interviews into each episode, and this episode covers the last 3 schools on 2019 edition of the tour. So 3 quick interviews, about 10 to 15 minutes each coming at you here. First, we start in Iowa City with Hawkeyes defensive end Chauncey Golston. Then we go to Illinois with USC transfer Oluwole Betiku. Interesting guy to get to know, especially we don't get many transfers on the show, so that was kind of unique. And he had a really cool story. And then wrapped it up in Evanston, up the road with J.R. Pace, and he's also interesting and definitely a talkative guy that was fun to get to know. So, like with all these guys, I had a great time interviewing them. It's crazy that another bus tour is in the books, and I hope the audience out there enjoys hearing about these football players as much as I enjoyed extracting those answers and personalities from them. So we'll start, like I said, in Iowa City, get to Chauncey Golston, and move along from there. So the interview with the Iowa Hawkeyes defensive end starts right now. I'm very pleased to be joined in Iowa City following Iowa Hawkeyes football practice by Iowa defensive end Chauncey Golston. Chauncey, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Just finished practice.
Yeah, finished practice. We're tucked away here in one of your state-of-the-art meeting rooms here in the practice facility, and as I walked in, I couldn't help but notice there's like a Chinese piece of art, a painting hanging above the door. Tell me what the deal is with that. What's going on?
Okay, so our old D-line coach from last season, Coach Morgan. Yeah, so every spring we have like coaches from a football league over in China or whatever. Like they come over and like they bring gifts sometimes. And they brought Coach Morgan as a gift, and it says, "Fall down 7, get up 8."
That's pretty cool. I remember that quote. I think Dwayne Wade made that his branding quote a while ago when he came up, but I didn't know it was like an ancient Chinese quote as well.
It's nice.
You don't really expect to see that, middle of Iowa, but it's a nice little cultural gift and cultural landmark here. Another question I have for you, unrelated to football. I don't know, you probably don't remember because all these days blend together, but we're here pretty much the same day every year for this bus tour. Mm-hmm. And 3 years in a row, the weather outside has been terrible. It's like a monsoon. We're stuck inside, and it's been like thunderstorms that woke me up at 6 a.m. What's going on with these weather patterns, man?
I have no clue. I was talking to our trainers about that earlier. Well, actually yesterday, because I had checked the weather, and I saw it was supposed to rain. And I was like, yep, every year that they come, it's been raining. So
you did remember, and it's like, it feels like we never left. It feels like I just repeated the same day over and over again. Like, it's a deja vu thing going on, Groundhog Day.
Yeah, but last year we were actually outside.
Yes, so remember that too. Right, Kirk kept us outside, because I don't think there was lightning last year. Like, this year there's storms and lightning like crazy. Last year, Kirk was like, nah, we're rolling outside. Have you had any of those bad weather days yet this summer where you guys just have to tough it out in the elements?
Not really like from rain or anything. I know so we do like a big conditioning day on Fridays during the summer, and one day was like 107 or something. It was like really hot, so we started a little earlier so we wouldn't die out there.
Right. But those are the worst, man. I can't stand the humidity, the heat. We got in here yesterday and it was hot. Went outside, immediately started sweating. So I feel bad for you guys actually doing real hard work. We'll move on now to a little bit of your background. Chauncey, you're a Detroit kid, right?
Yeah.
From Detroit, born and raised?
Mm-hmm. Outside of Detroit.
All right. So tell me something about growing up in Detroit that non-locals wouldn't know about or understand. What's something that growing up there you'd have to kind of experience to know about?
Let's see. Something you would have to experience.
Yeah, just what's it like?
I couldn't really tell you. Like, Detroit to me is just home. Like, people like, is it a bad place? No, to me it's just home. It's just like normal. There's nothing like when I got to Iowa, like Detroit is like more fast paced. I got here, it's a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a lot slower because it's not much of a big city. But like the food in Detroit is like way better.
That's one thing, the style of food that you have to understand. Like, I know you guys got like the Jets pizza, the square pizza style.
Yeah,
what's the food?
Detroit,
what's the style like?
The Detroit deep dish. It's a lot of crust. It's like it's more bread. It's not like the Chicago deep dish with all the sauce and stuff. So like when I do go to like pizza places, I don't get deep dish because it's too much.
Right. That Detroit pizza sits kind of in the middle. That Goldilocks. So, what about the other styles of food? Like what else is kind of what did you enjoy eating growing up there, and what's the city kind of known for besides that pizza?
I like we have like a lot of restaurants. They're called Coney Island, and I like whenever I go home, I gotta get some. Like they have all types of food. It's kind of like you could compare it to like diner food, but like it's just way better.
They don't quite have that here in Iowa City.
No,
okay.
There's nowhere that compares. And then there's let's see, Sweetwater's. They have some really, really good chicken. And then, like, they have a lot of good other stuff.
I know you mentioned, you kind of touched on, like, Detroit gets a bad rap or whatever. I've been there briefly, and I enjoyed it. I think, like you said, there's a vantage point that some people have that it isn't totally accurate. And like you said, it is home for a lot of people. It is a proud city. And you came up there pretty close to two Big Ten schools, Michigan and Michigan State. Was there any interest on your end in trying to play there as a kid growing up? And was there interest on their end having you play? Obviously, you didn't end up close to home for college. So how did that recruiting process happen? And was there any contact or mutual interest at all with those schools?
I never really wanted to go to a school in Michigan. I wanted to go be out of my element. So like Iowa was good for me. And I was never like really big into like Michigan or Michigan State. So that like my school growing up, it was Oregon. So like growing up I was already thinking about going to school really far away.
So why was that? Was it because just they had the swag, as we were growing up, like that, they were just the Nike and the neon, so they caught your attention then as a kid?
Oregon they were just everything that I wanted to be when I was younger. But then I grew up and Oregon got bad.
It's true, yeah. And sometimes people bag on like the flashy uniforms and stuff and all the different combinations and the out-of-the-box things that schools like that do, but clearly it has an impact. Like, it caught your attention growing up. It made you want to play there. Yeah,
really in a recruitment process, it really has an impact.
Yeah. So that's what these old heads need to understand, is that it's a real thing. All right, talking about football, since you are here at Iowa, last year was kind of a breakout year for you, right, as far as production on the field?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm looking over some stats. You had 3 fumble recoveries. That's the best in the Big Ten. I'm sure you knew that. 3.5 sacks, looks like, and 6 tackles for loss. Those are starters numbers, but you didn't have a full-time starting role yet. You probably will this year. So, how do you kind of have a nose for the ball and an knack for big plays, do you think?
Yeah, like some of those plays, like when we were watching film, I'd be looking at like some of AJ sacks, and I'm like, dang, I was just right there. It could have been my, but yeah. We're like, as you can see, like up there, like ball hawks. Mm-hmm. It's like the people that like get to the ball and like get sacks and tips and stuff. And we do this every year as to like something to push you to like be better, because if you're at the top, then everyone gets to see that you're up there. So, and Coach Parker really pushes like us to be ball hawks, because you can't make a play if you're not around the ball. Yeah,
it's a good term, a fitting term here at Iowa, ball hawks. You're number 2, looking at that list. I know people listening can't see it, but Epenesa's up there, number 1. You're up there, number 2. Like I said, impressive for someone who was still coming into their role last year. It's got to be kind of a blessing to be able to play opposite AJ, right? He kind of draws a little attention, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's a big guy. He's really cool, though.
Absolutely. And what do you think about how your role might grow this year now that you've kind of established yourself?
Well, first off, like my role as a leader, it has to change. Well, it really impacts my role as a leader, because like last year we had like 4 seniors, and like they were the leaders, and they really like groomed us, me and AJ and Cedric and Brady Reef. They like groomed us to be like the leaders and to lead this group the same way that they did. So our defensive line can have an identity.
For sure. And just thinking outside of defense and kind of talking about the whole team, do you guys at Iowa ever feel kind of overlooked as far as national like attention goes? Because I feel like Wisconsin gets a lot of attention. Nebraska's got a lot of hype, even though they had a losing season last year. And Iowa sometimes, I think the fans would say, they don't get sometimes the respect they deserve. Is there a mentality here about that, or do you guys not really pay attention to that at all?
Like playing at Iowa, that you're going to get overlooked, but at the end of the day, you have to line up and play. So,
right.
Like the people can say whatever they want. They're not out. They're not in there in a weight room lifting a weights or on the practice field with you. So they can say whatever they want. At the end of the day, it's just their opinion.
All right, switching away from football now as we get close to wrapping up. When I do these interviews on the road with guys, and I only get 10 minutes or so, I try to look into their Twitter profiles to see what they tweet about. What their interests are. And I was a little unique because you guys don't really tweet over here. You haven't tweeted since 2016, but I was looking through your likes. You're still on Twitter and active. You're liking things every day pretty much. So How do you have that discipline? One, not to hit, is it hard to scroll through and not tweet anything, but still be present on the platform?
I've never really been super big into Twitter.
Okay.
So why do I need to let you know what I'm doing? Why do I need to update you?
But you are on it though.
I see what other people doing, and I mostly like funny videos and stuff like that. But I don't need to update the world on what am I doing. I don't need to say, oh, on my way to go get some coffee.
What about Instagram and Snapchat? Are you guys allowed? Is there rules against Instagram like there is for Twitter? Because you guys can't be on Twitter. You can't tweet, right?
Yeah, we can't tweet, and that's just to stop. When people get mad, they want to go on Twitter rants and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. People are in players' mentions all the time. It's tempting.
Yeah, and on Instagram is just on all social media. It's would your mom how would your family feel about you posting that? That's really the rule. There's not a written rule, but it's unwritten. And my coaches, even in high school, they were like that. So it's nothing new to me.
So you've been brought up in that social media mindset. You might be in the best shape of all of us then, because my friends and people around me will tell anyone that I'm addicted to my phone. So you've been kind of able to swear that off. So that's a good thing. You should be proud of yourself for that. All right, Chauncey, wrapping up just with a couple of personal interest questions. What are some of your hobbies outside of football? Do you have any shows you watch? Is there certain artists you like listening to? What's some of your hobbies outside of football?
Let's see. I hang out with my teammates. We play the game a lot, but not a lot, but when we can.
Video games?
Yeah.
Like what?
We play Apex Legends. We play Fortnite, but I don't really like that.
That kind of went out of style now.
Yeah. I'm not into all the building and stuff.
Okay.
We play Call of Duty and Madden, but they play 2K. I'm not a 2K player. It's not for me.
What I've noticed is on the tour, a lot of guys have been really stubborn one way or the other on Xbox or PS4. Do you have a strong preference either way?
I have both, but I only play my PlayStation.
Okay. I did not even know that was such a big thing, because I don't play as many video games as I did growing up. But apparently it's a big rivalry,
Yeah, one of my roommate, he always said, I'm always on my PlayStation when I do play the game, and he has an Xbox, so he's like, bro, you can't. Why are you playing that system? It's trash.
Don't even play that around me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I know. So I've been educated a little bit on that. Chauncey, to wrap up, I ask a question to every player I talk to at each stop. Since we're usually spend some time on campus, got to know where the good places to eat are. We already talked about the food in Detroit. Fill me in on, even though I know you said it's not as good as Detroit, fill me on some good places, some of your regular spots, where to eat in Iowa City.
Let's see. Well, the other day we had a day off, and I went to Airliner. It's pretty good. It's got really good pizza.
I think I've been there. Yeah, it's famous. I know that.
Let's see. I like not Sugar Peach. It's in North Liberty. It's not far away. That's really good. Let's see.
What's big around here is Pancheros.
You don't like it? Pancheros guy. I'm not really.
What about Chipotle or Qdoba?
Yeah, I like Qdoba. If I could have Qdoba, I'd take that over both. But I had if it's Pancheros and Chipotle, I'm going with Chipotle.
I know I don't know how acceptable that is around here. You might want to lower your voice. We'll see if that gets you any discipline for not liking Pancheros. That's an Iowa staple. But appreciate your recommendations, man. Appreciate you taking some time and having some fun on the podcast. Best of luck this season. We'll definitely be watching.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again to Chauncey. Fun to get to know him. And it's also fun to get to know Oluwole Betiku, who I only had to practice and pronounce his name a couple times. He was patient with me, so shout out to him for that. And we'll throw it over now to the USC transfer, current Fighting Illini defensive end, and we did it in the sparkling new Smith Football Center, new facility down there in Champaign. So the interview with Oluwole starts right now.
All right, very pleased to be joined in Champaign, Illinois after Fighting Illini football practice by Illinois defensive end Oluwole Betiku. Oluwole, how's it going, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. We're sitting literally right now in the lobby of the brand new Fighting Illini Performance Center. Give me your first thoughts, man. This is pretty sweet. We're at like the front desk right now. We could be the receptionist right now. Give me your thoughts on everything that's been unveiled here in the last week or so to you guys.
I mean, it's beautiful, man. You know, when I came in on my visit, Coach showed me the video and the pictures of it, the prototype, and I never thought it would look like this. You know, I saw the videos, but just seeing it in person and getting into the building, it's really beautiful. It's a great building. It has everything you need to be successful as an athlete.
So, I mean, you came from a football powerhouse, USC, transferred here. Does USC have anything like this as far as like facilities go?
Right, it's kind of similar, but this is great. You know, they will have great facilities, but this is definitely top 5 in the nation. You know?
How about just the overall vibe in Central Illinois compared to Southern California? Like, that can't be that different, right?
I'm not gonna say nothing about that. I love you, Champaign. That's what I'm saying. Great people. People here are like very, very nice. Teammates are great. They accepted me like I've been one of them from day one. And you know, the strength coaches, the coaching staff. You know, it's just a different kind of vibe. Everybody just feels like family, and everybody you see down the street, in the cafeteria, everywhere, you just feel like they're part of the football team, and you know, it's a great vibe.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of USC guys transferring over this year. How many of you guys made the move? It's like
3 of us.
3? Okay. You know, made your way over for one reason or another, more playing time, what have you. How did this kind of movement, this pipeline get established? Did like word get out among 1 or 2 of you guys, and guys decided to make the move at the same time? How did all 3 of you kind of end up here?
Honestly, but with me, after my injury, I just wanted a change of scenery for myself. Like, you know, after evaluating my career the first 2 years at USC and having a season-ending injury and sitting out the whole year, when I came back, I wanted to change, and I wanted to play on a different team, and I just wanted to change in my life. I wanted to play on a different scheme of defense, and you know, and Coach Clark and Coach Kinardo, they were with me when I was at USC my first 2 years, and when I put my name in the portal from the day one, they hit me up, and I was big on Illinois, so immediately I took my visit, and I met with the team, you know, Jamal, Kenyon, Bobby Roundtree. We all hung out and we spoke about, you know, how the defense and what we're trying to do, and I just felt like this is where I fit in, and this I belong in a big boy league like the Big Ten, and that's why I made the move.
So have you used your fellow USC teammates here? Have you guys kind of gotten acclimated to this new program together? Do you guys hang out? How's the transition been?
I mean, you know, me and Trayvon, we took our visit together, and you know, after that day, we pretty much made up our mind. You know, me and him just spoke right when we're hanging out that night. We were like, "What do you think, bro? I think this is where I'm coming." And it was like, "Yeah," you know. And it was at that point, it was just who was going to be first to announce it. And Josh made his decision to after taking his visit. But you know, just being here with them just feels great. Just feels like nothing ever changed, because me and Trayvon, we played each other in high school. Me and Josh, we've been friends since we were in high school. We both Nigerians. Our parents know each other, so it's just a great feeling. Coach Clark, Coach Kinardo, Coach Smith, everything is just perfect.
Yeah, you mentioned you're Nigerian and you grew up in Nigeria. I read that you moved here age 16. So you talked about how life at USC and on the West Coast was different. How was life in Nigeria different for you coming up as a kid?
I mean, as a kid, I didn't grow up with a lot, but my parents were really humble and they worked hard every day, and it was just really different. I don't know how to explain it. I don't like to talk about a lot of my suffering because it's a past.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a tough life growing up in Nigeria, growing up in Lagos. I just learned to work hard and take advantage of every opportunity that's in front of me, and that's what I've been doing. I've just been working hard and doing the best I can. So, my future, my kids and everything, they're not gonna have to go through what I went through growing up.
What I guess necessitated your move to the U.S.? How did you decide to come over here, and how difficult was that transition? Getting used to a whole new lifestyle in the U.S.
I mean, it was very different. First of all, when I got here, it was hard to communicate because my accent was really thick. Like, I had to repeat myself like 5 times. I had to get used to being politically correct because a lot of things that people don't see as an insult or being sensitive, and we're different. And when you come over here, you can't just say some things even though they sound right because it can be seen as some kind of insult, but you don't know because you're not from here.
Lost in translation, right?
Yeah. And I got into a lot of situations like that sometimes I would just not talk because I just didn't understand how the system worked. But after a few years, I got used to it and I could express myself better.
So
I think that was the hardest part.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine, man. I've traveled overseas a little bit lately, and just I feel helpless because I usually have to rely on other people to translate the language for me, and I always have that respect and admiration for people who come over, start a new life, or start a new beginning, really, and have to basically figure it out as they go. And speaking of that, you don't have interests just on the football field. I've read about some of your hobbies outside of football. You're a musician and you're an artist, and you're kind of self-taught in those regards, right? You kind of just like with the language, you kind of adjusted and adapted. So tell me about some of those interests out the football field.
I mean, with art and music, I just felt like it's a gift. I've always had it in me, and I've never really had a chance to express it because when I was in Nigeria, I just had so many things I had to worry about, like food, like light. I had to go get gas to put in the generator. Sometimes it might be a queue at the gas station, and you got to be there for 3 hours. Life was just so stressful that you couldn't really express that other side of you. So when I got to the U.S. and getting into college was my first spot where I could really get a room to myself ever in my life, and just having my own room and having my own space I was just able to really dig more into myself and find other things that's been in me that I haven't really had a chance to do. And then I got my first guitar. I just started playing for fun because I like the sound of guitar. I got carried away with blues music, and when I was painting one day, I started painting, and I was listening to a lot of music, and this music by, I think, The Sky Is Crying came up, and I was like, I heard the guitar solo, and I'm like, damn, I've never heard this type of music before. There has to be more. It was on YouTube, so I put the YouTube playlist on, and it just kept playing more of that type of music, and from there, my painting got better listening to music like that because it was just chill. It was a longer vibe. It was 8-10 minutes long. So I decided to get my own guitar. My dream was to play guitar and paint at the same time. And I took it slow and step by step. I got a piano, a keyboard, and I started music production, and everything just fell in place. And I used my art as my artwork, and everything is just connected together.
That's pretty cool, man. And I didn't even think about this when I write my questions down. But did you learn football the same way? Because it's not like football is a super popular sport in Africa, I feel like. So how did you start playing football?
I mean, it was just interest. When I came here to play football, honestly, I never thought I would go this far in football. If you asked me when I started playing, I thought it was just going to be a crossover for me to the United States and just come here and just hustle and try to send money back home to my family as much as I can. But when I got here, I didn't know sports was this serious in the United States. It was workouts every day, practice every day, and just from practicing every day, I got better, and I was like, I think I can play this game, and I just kept going. And I mean, first year was tough. I was wondering why everybody was coming to hit me when I was not the ball carrier. Because I thought only the running back got hit. But I saw pullers coming towards me.
It's a strange concept.
Yeah. But, that's the kind of like with football. I think what affects me is you can't really use your creativity as much because you got to go by the playbook, and that was what I struggled with at first. But now that I've grown in the game, I kind of understand there's a reason why I have to shoot a certain gap. It doesn't have to be your play all the time, and that came with time.
Absolutely. And then talking to Illinois specifically, you came from USC, which is a proud program. You just got here, so you haven't really gone through the losses of the last decade, pretty much. Like, Illinois hasn't really had a great team in 8-10 years, and people are ready for wins to start coming here. So we're sitting in this new facility. You talked about how great that is. Now the on-field aspect has to come. So I saw an article about you that quoted you as saying, people back home kind of mess with you or clown you, like, you're about to go out there to lose games here at Illinois. So people are obviously sleeping on Illinois beyond the Big Ten and in the Big Ten too. Like, a lot of people have Illinois picked last in the Big Ten. Why do you think you guys are capable of surprising some people, and why do you think you can make a difference here as a transfer to help them do that?
I mean, first of all, we know who we are as a team, and we don't let what others say define us. Last season could not define us. Like, this is a different team. Every year is a different year, and we practice hard. We really worked hard this offseason. This offseason has been one of this probably been the hardest offseason I've had my whole entire life. Like, with Coach Lou's strength program and with the defense we have, I'm confident in my teammates, and we've worked so hard, and we know who we are. That's all I'm gonna say. And we don't let what people say define us, because that was the past. We just look on the brighter side, which is the future, and we work hard towards it, and we're motivated every day, and we're ready to take the Big Ten by storm. We're not going to say a lot. We're just going to go on the field and show what we're about. Well said.
Going to wrap up with a non-football question now. It's a question I ask to every player I've talked to, and it's because, on this tour we spend a lot of time on these campuses. We got to know where to eat on campus. And I know you're new. Like, if you can't answer this, like, it's okay. I might have to pick up the slack because I'm from here. I went to school here. So I already kind of know some of these answers. But I'm curious to what you think. Like, where have you found that's a good place to eat here at the U of I campus, and where should we go when we're here?
I mean, for me, I live off campus, so I'm only on campus mainly because of football class. But where I like to eat the most in Champaign, like, I would Uber there if I have to in between practice, or like when we get a little break, is the Caribbean Grill.
There you go. Where is Caribbean Grill? I know the name of it, but I've never had it, I don't think.
It's just it's down the street.
Okay.
It's like 4 or 5 minutes away, but that's my favorite spot. They always have a special every day, and I like spicy food. So
see, I need to check it out. You're telling me about places I haven't even been to yet.
Yeah,
so
you gotta check it out. Make sure you get the fried plantains.
Okay, yeah. I got you. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking some time. Really fascinating story. Really, cool story that you're able to tell here. And we're glad you're doing it here in the Big Ten here at Illinois. And we'll be eagerly following as like you said, you guys take the Big Ten by storm this year. So appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate you stopping practice.
For sure, man. Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks once again to Oluwole Betiku for joining me. Moving along now to our final interview of the tour, number 14 of 14. Grand finale capped off by J.R. Pace from Northwestern. You'll hear it here, but J.R. is a guy with a lot of personality, and it's fun to talk to, and looks the part as well as kind of like a unique guy on their team with the red hair. I know you can't see it in the podcast, but just kind of accentuates his personality. So toss it over now to JR, the Wildcats safety. That interview with Mr. Pace starts right now.
All right, I'm very pleased to be joined here in Evanston. Last stop, the BTN Bus Tour by Northwestern junior J.R. Pace. J.R., man, how's it going?
Going well. Excited to be here. Excited for the season to start.
Good. So when I was looking up, some of your old stuff, some of your old hype videos, you were the franchise back then. They called you franchise, but you just told me you don't go by that anymore. What happened? Why'd you retire the nickname?
I just came to college. I had to have the humble head when I got here. Didn't want anybody to think, you know what I'm saying, that I was coming in with a big head, so, you know, I had to retire that.
So it's just JR now? Do you have another nickname?
Some of my friends call me Deuce.
Deuce?
Yeah, I'm
All
the
right.
second.
All right, I got you. Before we get into the meat and potatoes here in the interview, I gotta get your opinion on your guys' music selection out there. Like, it was pretty much straight up country, rock and roll, old school stuff. Like, are you guys vibing to that out there? Like, how do you like the music selection?
It's Country Thursday, so you can expect that every Thursday, and I don't mind it, you know what I'm saying?
So what's the selection the other days then?
It just depends. It's not up to me. We have a dude who controls the music, so I guess the head coach let him know what to play.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know if that was like Fitz's personal playlist or anything like that. But with the country, I was like it might be. But if it's like a theme for a day, I got you.
Yeah.
Penn State, we were there. They had Salsa Saturday, so like similar theme. Speaking of music, from College Park, Georgia.
Yep.
You old enough to remember the Young Jock lyric? Yeah. What did he say? Like from College Park, where they
what they chalk called?
Yeah. That was like middle school for me. That was when that song came out. That's how I've heard of your hometown. So talk me through how you came from College Park to Northwestern. How'd you kind of end up here from the South, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a big change for me. You know, coming up is a way different culture. You know, just coming from the South. You know, when I was just evaluating my offers, and you know, I talked over my family, and you know, we just felt like this was the best place for me. You know, I thought it would also be good for me for a few years, you know, to go to a different scene, see something new. You know what I'm saying? And I've enjoyed my experience so far.
And when you committed here, you had interesting hype video kind of to announce your commitment. A nice commitment video. I kind of made some waves. I watched it on the way over here this morning. First of all, how do you like decide to make a video like that? Like, how did you decide that over like, you know, sitting at a table and picking a hat?
I just thought that was kind of boring. Wanted to, you know, do something different, have a little fun. You know, I seen other people doing videos, and I was like, I just want to have some fun. I only get to do it once, so I was like, I might as well make a video, try to chronicle, you know, my life a little bit.
Yeah, and in the video, you kind of narrated it and said you were evaluated at a camp or something like that, given a 1% chance to get a D1 offer, ended up with over 20 D1 offers. First of all, what kind of camp was that? How old were you? And, like, what was your kind of immediate reaction to that kind of negative analysis you got?
I think it was one like the Nike Spark camps or something, but I mean, immediately at the time, I was obviously frustrated and stuff, but, you know, in retrospect, looking back on it, like, I mean, it made sense. I wasn't ready. It was my first time playing defense, and, you know, I didn't really deserve any offers at the time, but it definitely gave me that chip on the shoulder, you know, that I needed to just go out and work and really get into that mindset of, you know, grinding for what you want if you want something.
And for that video, did you like write the script to that? Because I got hyped watching it. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty inspirational.
My mama wrote the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. Give her a shout out for that. So staying in high school a little bit more before we move on, I read that you played lacrosse in high school. Is that right?
My freshman year, yeah.
Okay. How did that come about? And like I didn't even know lacrosse was big at all in Georgia. How did that come about?
Lacrosse is growing in the South, but I had played travel lacrosse too, so that was my first time. I played AAU lacrosse, and I don't even know how I got into it. I guess my dad just, you know, putting us in sports, so we tried everything, played lacrosse, baseball, football, basketball, soccer, and I kind of like lacrosse because the physicality of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Were you any good at it?
Nah, I just got in to hit people.
Okay. All right. What about any other sports? Do you have any secondary sports that you like?
Basketball. Top 3 livest you ever seen.
Top 3 what?
Livest.
Really?
Nah, just
really?
Livest? Nah, that's my favorite. That's my second favorite.
Could you dunk?
Yeah, I can dunk.
What kind of what kind of player were you? Were you like a 2-guard, you point guard?
I was an all-around player. I did everything, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
And I can't help but ask before we, you know, get into a little football talk. Tell me about the hair. You got kind of the red going on, red dye. What's the inspiration for that?
Myself.
Yeah.
You know, just being me. I always knew once I got my dreads, I wanted to dye the tips, and I didn't want to, you know, I want to do something different. But nowadays, so many people have color in their hair that different is not different no more. But I was feeling red at the time. I just went with it.
Have you had any other colors before?
Yeah, when I was high school, I had like my hair was blue, I had orange, I had blonde. So this was something I hadn't done yet.
All right. I mean, I know you said a lot of people color their hair, but like I haven't seen that much red out there. So I think you might be unique in the Big Ten at least. I haven't seen anyone else. We've been to every school. All right, JR, moving on to some football now. You're coming off an all Big Ten honorable mention season, so a good season for you personally. You guys went to Indy. It's a good season for the team. One thing, like just looking at your stats as a team and as a defense, you guys were really good at forcing a lot of difficult third down situations for opposing teams. And that was part of the reason that kind of set you guys apart, helped get you guys to Indy. Is that like a specific strategy for you guys on defense? Like, is there an emphasis on forcing third downs, or is that, do you think, just a product of kind of playing solid defense and it results in tough situations for opposing teams?
I think it's just a product of just, playing hard defense in the scheme, that Coach Hank puts together. And I think most defense would try to force their teams, third downs, 3 and outs. So, I definitely think it's just a product of just working hard, playing good defense and, executing the scheme. Yeah,
I was going to say, it speaks to, like, good coaching execution, because whether, that's like a plan you guys sit down with in advance and try to come up with, like, that makes a difference. Like, you look at your guys' team last year, you do a lot of things well, but a championship team does something very well usually, and that was kind of what set you guys apart. So, I mean, obviously, a lot of credit goes to you on that front, being a part of that unit. Earlier this week, the top 25 came out, the preseason top 25. It's hard to put a lot of stock into those polls because no games have been played yet. Northwestern was not in the top 25. A team like Nebraska was, who, they went 4-8 last year. You guys in the same division, won the division. That's just an example that jumped out to me. But I'm just curious, as far as you guys go and you see something like that, does that bother you guys, or you personally not getting that recognition?
Nah, it doesn't bother me. I don't think it bothers us at all. We know that we have to, earn people's respect. And, it makes it even better in the long haul once you do earn their respect. So, we see it all the time. There's nothing new to us. So.
But was it, like, brought up at all, at least? Did you guys notice when it came out? Were you guys looking at the poll?
I think everybody's seen it, yeah. But, like, in terms of, like, brought up, nobody really. Not really tripping. We know we got to work regardless, even if we were in it. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure. All right. Speaking of last year, you guys went to Indy, obviously. Mm-hmm. Just take me through that experience from your perspective as a player. Doing that as a program for the first time, and kind of the pomp and circumstance that went along with that. Were there any, celebrity guests? I know at Northwestern there's a lot of famous alumni. Any interesting experiences? What kind of did you see and do leading up to the game?
I don't know about any celebrity guests. I mean, it was a great experience. Probably one of the best experiences of my life. That environment was crazy. Shout out to all the fans. Shout out to the donor who, donated those 50 buses for the students. That was amazing. We had a great turnout. Obviously didn't go our way, but, we're trying to get back there, and have a different outcome. But, that was a great experience. Indianapolis treated us well. But yeah, I don't know about any celebrity guests.
The reason I asked that is because we were at the bar the night before, Friday night, and I just looked to my left and Seth Meyers right there, like famous alumni. He's got the talk show late at night and big Northwestern fan. So he was, that was kind of cool to see him. And I know you guys have a lot of famous alumni, especially in the media too. Leading up to the game, did you guys do anything, I guess, in the city, like walking through? Was it all straight business?
Oh no, I think we only got there like the day before the game, so we didn't really have any time to do anything. Yeah,
I don't even know, like, if they even take teams through and do anything, because like it's Indy, we're kind of used to it as a conference being there. It's not really like you're going to New York or anything like that, where there's a lot of tourist things to do, and you guys got a game to play. So
yeah, I think we were just in the hotel.
Yeah, I was curious from that perspective. All right, looking forward now to this season. I couldn't help but laugh at Coach Fitzgerald's comments at Media Day. I don't know if you saw him about the cell phones and society and all that. It kind of went viral on social media.
No, I didn't even see it.
You didn't see it? So he basically was like saying how cell phones are kind of the downfall of society, and like that's the reason that people don't want to go to college football games. Everyone's buried in their phones 24/7.
That went viral?
It went viral. It was like all over social media, yeah. Sure. And because people were like, yes, Fitz is spot on. Like, society's kind of going downhill because everyone's in their phones. I don't know. I don't expect you to speak on his comments, especially if you haven't seen it, but I want to know what you think. Like, you think this generation's on their phones too much, on social media, and too wrapped up in it?
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I'm a, what was I about to say? Like, that speaks to me, too. like I find myself, on it too much. I know like throughout the summer, like I would just delete the apps, delete my social media apps. So like when I went to my phone, I didn't have anything to go to, and I recently re-downloaded them for like a few days just to kind of relax, kind of have an outlet. But then like I'm getting back to business, so I delete those as well. I definitely think people are too consumed, and it's hard. I'm saying I'm a culprit of it as well. But I think people should just, I was raised kind of old school way. You look up, look at the world, enjoy the world, talk to people. But yeah, it's definitely hard.
Does Fitz know you deleted your apps? Like, would you have told him that?
Nah, I don't have no reason to tell him that.
Yeah, you might. I'm sure you're, already in his good graces. Might like you a little more. That fits exactly into what he was saying. Like as far as what he's looking for, I think in society. So if you're able to unplug from social media, obviously that's a character trait that, like you said, you're kind of raised with. What about anything else like outside of football? Like, are you into video games, like TV shows? What do you do for some hobbies outside of football?
Well, right now I don't got time for hobbies, but I like video games. I play them occasionally. I don't play them too much just because like that's time I could be using to recover, do rehab, watch film. But like maybe when it's off season, I'll play video games. I like playing basketball, but I really get to do that anymore. They
got those nice courts out like behind. Have you seen those? It's like behind the facility. Yeah.
Oh, you talking about over there?
Yeah.
Those are
those are nice.
Courts. Yeah.
Do you ever play over there, or where do you hoop if you can?
There's some new courts in here.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten to hoop in like 2 years, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The thing is, for me, I was a high school player, and then I tried to play when I was in school, like intramural or whatever. And I fell off just because like I didn't play that much, you know. So it's hard to keep at it, and I lose my handle like if I don't play. I don't know about you.
Nah.
You never. You're still live out there.
I'm live. You gotta see me. We play 1-on-1.
All right, JR. To wrap up, I ask every player that's at each stop, and other places it's a little different because we're not in those communities, right? Like we kind of know here where to go because we're in Chicago. But I ask everyone, what's the best place to eat on campus, and have the players list a couple of their favorite spots. So where do you like to eat on campus? Where are some spots we need to check out? And honestly, here we'll be able to do it because, like I said, we're just down the road in Chicago. So let me know.
On campus
or just around town.
I was about to say like downtown Evanston. You got like Blaze Pizza, OMG, which is like Olive Mediterranean Grill. There's a new one some of my teammates just put me on. It's a chicken spot. You know what it's like?
Chicken wings?
Nah,
no, it's Buffalo Joe's. Is it Buff Joe's?
No, Buff Joe's is good too. Just try that. No, 10Q. 10Q chicken. That's good. Get the fireball.
Okay.
That's good.
Because I like Buff Joe's in Evanston.
Joey's is good.
Some days we'll like drive up to Evanston, do the 30-minute drive or whatever, take some Buff Joe's back. Yeah. Just eat it. It's so good. But
they have Uber Eats now.
Ooh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay, might have to take advantage of that. Yeah. Blaze is like I think that's LeBron's company. So I like Blaze. It's a good one too. All right, JR. Appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you kind of putting a bow on the bus tour for me. You're the last one. Good luck this year. I'm excited to see you guys handle your business, like you said. Prove some of the haters wrong. And above all, just thanks for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks again to JR, Oluwole, and Chauncey for joining me and for finishing off another great edition of the BTN Bus Tour and the podcast series. We've been able to kind of hitch our wagon along for the bus tour and along for that ride with the last few years. It's been a blast. I say it over and over again on the podcast, but it's really cool that I get to talk to a player at each stop. It's great that the schools are so accommodating and getting that done. And it's fun getting to know some of these personalities because football, I feel like guys get buried kind of under that face mask, under that helmet. And on these rosters of like 100-plus guys, it's hard to get to know some of the personalities. So hopefully I did a decent job exposing that and getting some of these guys out of their shells a little bit or at least giving them a microphone. And I hope everyone out there enjoyed the tour coverage from TV, digital, and podcast arenas. So thanks to everyone out there for listening and following along. We'll have plenty more coming at you as football season gets underway. So definitely keep it locked on the Take 10 podcast. Subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Podbean, YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever. Just make sure you follow along. Thanks as always to Wes White and Julia Bronder for producing the show. And we'll talk to you very soon here on the Take 10 podcast.